Hello, everyone, and welcome to the St. Louis Rapid and Blitz, the fourth event of the year for the Grand Chess Tour. It is the inaugural event. We're seeing it here for the very first time here in St. Louis. And there's a special buzz around this event for a very good reason, as it's the return of the king, Garry Kasparov, once again in competition after retiring since 2005, 12 years since he's played against his professional colleagues in an official competition, and he is back in this event. And there is a tremendous buzz with the audience. I'm Maurice Ashley. And for me, it's a special treat. I've been following Garry Kasparov's career for many, many years and been able to comment on all his epic battles, or many of his epic battles. So it's absolutely thrilling for me to see a personal hero once again playing. And one is, of course, reminded of the return of Muhammad Ali, of Michael Jordan, one of the all-time greats in the history of a sport, and certainly a special event that we're going to be witnessing over the next 5 days. Well, before we get to those duties, I will first like to introduce the players who will have a say in how well one Garry Kasparov does in this event. And we have a few new faces. We also have several faces who have been friends, virtually family now. Let me introduce, new to the competition, a wild card here, Grandmaster Lee Lem from Vietnam. Also new to the competition, all the way from the Czech Republic, Grandmaster David Navarra. A veteran of these events, a veteran of St. Louis, and definitely a friend to the city, a winner of the Sinquefield Cup, the third edition of the Sinquefield Cup. From Armenia, Grandmaster Levon Aronian. A man who knows a thing or two about playing against Garry Kasparov. He competed against him in a world championship match and has played against him, I think, more than probably any of these players combined against Garry Kasparov. Certainly a champion himself, five-time world champion, in fact, from India, Grandmaster Vishwanathan Anand. A top player himself, and we're welcoming him for the first time to St. Louis. From Cuba, Grandmaster Lanier Dominguez. Go to the other end of the podium. One of America's brightest stars, a four-time U.S. champion. He's been a top player for many years now. Grandmaster Hikaru Nakamura. Hailing from Russia, Grandmaster Yan Nepomniachtchi. And his compatriot, a challenger to the world title recently, Grandmaster Sergei Karyakin. Another American superstar, a winner of the Sinquefield Cup. We will never forget his 7-0 run to begin the competition, a feat that will take many years, if not decades, to once again repeat. Grandmaster Fabiano Caruana. And of course, if I try to list all his accomplishments, we'd be here for a couple of hours at least. And that's only the first half of his career. He is a champion of champions. He has won the world title many times ever since he defeated Anatoly Karpov in their epic match in 1985. He was the #1 player in the world for 15 years. He's an ambassador. He's someone who is a visionary of the Grand Chess Tour as well. He continues to do much work all over the world. His foundations throughout the world help kids and help spread the word about our royal game. He has done everything this sport has had to offer, and he plans to do a little bit more to regale us at this event. I'm sure he's been hard in training, but please welcome everyone, Grandmaster Garry Kasparov. And to say a few words, we'll introduce the executive director of the St. Louis Chess Club and Scholastic Center, Tony Rich.
Thank you, Maurice. I have to say, just coming off the Singfield Cup, it was so much fun watching the players that were in town. I really feel like these events are kind of St. Louis's crowning jewel when it comes to chess. And the Rapid and Blitz, this new event, absolutely will do more to astound all of the spectators and fans and the dorks that love chess like me. So I can't wait to see what happens over the next 5 days. Obviously, there are many, many people to thank. There have been a lot of folks who have been very integral and important in making sure these events come off as successfully as they have. I'd like to start with Spectrum Studios, run by Randy Singfield, and Silverback as well, Tom Wilkinson. Of course, I would be remiss if I didn't mention our PR team, Fleischman Hillard, as along with Mark Niebling and Kylie Herndon, who make all of the events that we have here be as popular as they are. Of course, I would like to thank all of our commentators. I think we're going to mention them by name in just a little bit, so I won't ruin Maurice's thunder. But of course, we have Spanish commentators in St. Louis. We have live audience commentators. We have commentators who are broadcasting on the internet. We even have grandmasters who are in town that help us with simple things like bringing a little insight or sideline reporting from the events as well, Christian Chirillis. So thanks to all of our commentators that are here. And of course, none of this would be possible without the Chess Club and Scholastic Center of St. Louis and the World Chess Hall of Fame led by Shannon Bailey. It's been so much fun to be able to work at the organization now, and it's great to have my partner in arms with Shannon. Of course, all of the Grand Chess Tour stops have sponsors and organizers that are very important to the event. In Paris, we have Vivendi, Daily Motion, and Colliers International. On the Paris leg, we have Colliers International. On the Leuven leg, we have Your Next Move. We just finished up our third leg in the Singfield Cup. This is number 4 with the St. Louis Rapid and Blitz. And we wrap things up in London with the London Chess Classic that's led by the great organizer Malcolm Payne and Chess Promotions Limited. You know, I've worked at the Chess Club now for almost 10 years. It'll be 10 years in January. And it has been the most amazing job anybody could ask for. These guys have been my idols. I've looked up to them. I've tried to mimic their games of chess poorly, but I've tried for a number of years now. But none of that would have been possible, of course, without my boss, Rex Singfield, and his vision, but more importantly, his boss, Dr. Jeannie Singfield. Jeannie?
Well, I always get the joy to introduce Rex. I want to thank everybody for coming. We have 7 countries being represented right now. We have a few new people who have never played here. So welcome to the city of St. Louis, the chess capital of the U.S. And I wanted to give you a little bit of helpful advice. Don't play the Singfield move. And I would like to introduce the godfather of at least St. Louis chess, if not U.S. chess, Rex Singfield.
Oh, my goodness, what a note. It's like that umpire in the 1985 World Series that made that bad call in the 6th game of the World Series against the Cardinals and the Royals, Dan Denkinger. And the hardest thing to take was he lived in St. Louis. But to his credit, he went on KMOX radio the next day for 2 hours and took all questions. I didn't do that. Yasser Seirawan describes that event when I incorrectly promoted a pawn to a queen and cost the game, for which I got daggers from this fellow to my right. Yasser says it's like Bob Hope being thrown out of his own tournament. So anyway, I want to just spend time thanking the staff, my son Randy and his crew, and the most incredible announcers. I say it all the time. I know it gets boring, but I'm not going to stop saying it. The most incredible commentary team of any sport in the world, and I dare anyone to challenge me on that. Jennifer Shahadi, Yasser Seirawan, and Maurice Ashley. And then alongside them in other quarters doing live commentary, we have also the best in the world, Vara Kobian and Robert Hess at Kingsider Diner. And Alejandro and Yvette doing Spanish commentary at Muchas Gracias. Yeah. All of you do an amazing job, and you really make chess fun and exciting for everybody in the world. This is amazing. We all know our audience spans 200 countries and millions of viewers, and it's partly because of the great chess and these wonderful competitors. But to be quite honest, it's also because of these great commentators. Now, the Grand Chess Tour is working around the 2018 international calendar to expand the tour, and as we get details, they will be available as soon as we learn them. So, with that, I have to turn it over to my good friend and admirer, what do I say? Confused admirer of the New York Yankees, Maurice Ashley.
Need I remind Rex how many World Series we've won? Well, we won't get into that. That's for another day and week and year. It's too much. But today we have other business to attend to. We're going to ask the players a few questions on this epic occasion. And I'd like to start giving the stage to someone who has perspective on this, Vishwanathan Anand. Vishy, you have played Garry for a couple of decades now. Has it been 3 decades even, maybe?
Yeah. I played him the first time in '91, and then till 2005. So.
Wow. So give us a sense now, playing this great champion, you being a great champion yourself, seeing him return to the stage, this stage, with all these players who you have been battling, and you know all the ins and outs of what modern chess is like. How do you feel Garry's going to do in this group? Put you on the spot right away.
Yeah. Well, there was one Garry Kasparov, so 91 to 2005, very intense guy and so on. And then I met him for many years, and something was missing. He seemed more relaxed, more at ease. And now I think I've gotten used to the second guy, but have to remember the first one again. But it should be fun, and I think I've spoken to many people. A lot of people are very excited about this. It'll be a great event.
Tell us, if you may, Fabiano Caruana. You've never had the opportunity to play this gentleman. Oh, other than Blitz? No. Yes. Okay. Well, that did count. I guess it counts. But this is him amongst a group. That was more of an exhibition. This is serious, as some people have said. This counts, if you will. Although, What's your feeling about having the opportunity to play him in this particular event on this historic occasion?
I think that Garry took that event very seriously. Even if it's not rated, I think that we all care just as much about the quality of our chess games, even if it's an exhibition match. But obviously Garry played extremely well there, and my score against him wasn't too good, so I hope to improve it this time.
Levon, Grandmaster Levon Aronian of Armenia. You've had great perspective on this career, watching these events, watching his games. I know you're a great student of history. How do you place this in terms of historical events, and especially in your career itself?
I think, I have a great admiration for Garry's chess, and, I've only played him once in a Blitz game, in a tournament, and, it will be special to increase my good score.
Let the trash talking begin.
What to do? You know what I'm good at. So I look forward to this event.
Rex?
I have a question here, because you're supposed to be providing commentary on all the great past episodes. How come you've never asked me about 3 times I played in simul's against Garry? I mean, this is missing from the chess annals.
I think most people don't want to know about it. A couple more words from players. Sergei Karyakin. Sergei, Garry, of course, is an idol in your part of the world, as he is all over the world. How do you contextualize his comeback when you think about seeing this great player return to the stage?
Yeah, well, I can only say that Garry is one of the greatest chess players ever, and it was basically my dream to play against him, but I have never played, and so I will be happy. Unfortunately, it's not a classical game, but still, rapid on Blitz would be very nice.
I would like to get a word from Hikaru Nakamura. Hikaru, you've had a chance to battle Garry as well in exhibition match. You, not to bring any controversy, but you know I like to bring up controversy. You did mention you didn't think Garry should be able to win this one. Have you had a chance to reconsider those words?
I don't think I said he couldn't win. I mean, I think obviously it's going to be very interesting. I think unlike most events that Garry played in when he was a professional player, he's probably not the clear favorite. That much is certain. But, you know, it's going to be an interesting event. I think all of us really want to beat him quite badly. And so I think he's going to have his work cut out for him.
Well said. Well, we will allow the king to answer some of these repartees and tell us, Garry, first of all, you're back in professional competition. You said it. You announced it. We were all excited about it. Then you probably thought about the fact that you did say it and said, wait a minute, did I really say that? Now you have to do it, and now you're finally here. What does it feel like after 12 years to now be playing once again against the best players in the world, something that you used to do routinely now for the first time in over a decade?
Thanks God this routine will last only 5 days. Yeah, as I said, I've no plans to come back, and I have no plans to make such plans. But it's, you know, just now I realize that it's serious. Yes, just listening to all this stuff, especially from Hikaru, and I understand. No, it's in the sleep of a tongue of every player here. So, and I will be sort of the most desired prey in the history of chess. Yeah, but I will be kicking and fighting. So, and I still can hardly take it very seriously because, again, as Vishy said, it's 12 years, a long time, and I have been following chess. I've been promoting chess, playing simultaneous exhibitions, even some exhibition matches here in St. Louis. But it's all different. So the instincts are not the same. But I'm also curious. I think it's an interesting experiment, though it will last only 5 days, and making a lot of hard preparation. Tonight, for instance, I'll be watching the next episode of Game of Thrones. It's a part of routine, so just to let you know that my plan, my life will not change quite dramatically, except these 5 days. And as I said already, and in my statement, since I don't consider myself a professional player, whatever I win here will go to support chess development in Africa. So again, I don't know how much I'm going to win here, but it's whatever is the amount. So, and again, no matter whether I play here well or not well or poorly, so that's a 5 days routine. And I can also add that I'm probably a classical definition of a wild card, because I can do very well and I can do very poorly. So that's what you expect from the wild card.
Well, I'm sure most of your fans don't expect you to do poorly at all. Well, yes, Rex.
I want to say Garry has been so kind to the city of St. Louis and to the chess world and to this chess organization. I mean, he's been saintly in his behavior and what he's bestowed on us. And I hope the people of St. Louis, and especially the media of St. Louis, and I am speaking directly to my beloved St. Louis Post-Dispatch, I hope they recognize what an amazing honor has been bestowed on this city, that Garry Kasparov makes his return in the city of St. Louis.
Absolutely. Tremendous that has happened. Definitely. Once again, cementing St. Louis as the capital of chess in the United States and making a fast argument that's the capital of chess in the world, as all these illustrious players always descend on this tournament, this city, and in many events that happen here throughout the year, plus all the good work that they do working with young people, and, of course, this wonderful hall we're sitting in now, part of the World Chess Hall of Fame with the legends of the game hanging on the wall. Certainly a place to visit if you ever come to the city. I know that there's some press here who will be eager to ask a couple of questions. I'll open it up, just a few questions as we try to expedite the ceremony. Anyone with any questions from the press?
Unsurprisingly, this question's for Garry. Garry, I know you followed a lot of high-level chess during your retirement. were there times where you were watching some of your competitors and you were thinking things like, if I ever got a chance to play that person, this is a potential weakness that I see? Are there any of those thoughts you ever had in your 12 years of retirement?
No, I used to enjoy being on the commentator side because you can criticize your colleagues, especially having a comfort of looking at a computer screen. And of course, I understand that everybody who is playing under heavy pressure, especially at a top-level chess, World Championship match or Grand Chess Tour, they're well doomed to make mistakes. I made mistakes, and I'm sure, I will be making a lot of mistakes here, and just please take it easy, so just don't be too harsh on me. Of course, I know all these players. I follow their games, but as Sergey just pointed out, it's not classical, it's rapid and blitz. So it's more about your own form, your own instincts, because this, especially in blitz, it's more about your reaction rather than about other players.
Yes, Peter.
For the same respondent. Without sharing any of your secrets, of course, can you say anything about how you have been preparing for this event?
I just pointed out that I haven't changed my routine quite dramatically. So in the last few weeks, I've been traversing across the ocean a few times. I was here in St. Louis opening the match, Millennials match. Went to Las Vegas for DEFCON conference. Came back to Europe for my family. Another trip in Europe, and then flew back to St. Louis. But I did some work, so as much as I could, just to update myself on the modern chess. Because again, it's one thing that when you are just following these games, another one when you just try to understand what is just behind the moves and ideas. So I'm so better prepared, but again, it's only the tournament will show whether whether I can recover some of my instincts. But I do understand that I will not. I cannot even dream about recovering my form of the 30s. It's as naive as recovering my hairline.
Yeah, don't remind me, Garry. Well, you made a passing statement, Garry, that I want to thank you for your contribution of your prize money to African chess, something that's near and dear to my heart. And as usual, you continue to blaze trails in that area and make quite a difference. Well, despite everything we've been saying so far, one more question, sorry.
Jeff Stansbury representing the Ohio Chess Association. They have one question, all the kids back in Ohio, for Garry. What is your favorite Bobby Fischer game and why?
He definitely caught me by surprise. Yeah, he played many great games. I think it's the game that just I would recall. It's one of the most amazing games that's in the World Championship match. I think it was so there were two games. There was game 10 and a game 13 in the World Championship match against Boris Spassky. One was Ruy Lopez, and one was the game 13 was just a crazy game. Was a luck in defense, and then Fischer won all by miracle. So it was a great match, and maybe game 10. But again, it's just just an immediate response to this very surprising question.
I'm sure the kids of Ohio appreciate your answering that question, for sure. So what I was saying was, despite appearances, there are more players on this stage than Garry Kasparov, because everyone, of course, is interested in his story. But I'm sure there are many players here, the other 9 players, who are thinking that they get to write their chapter in history at this event as well. And the only way they're going to do that is with the drawing of lots, so that they know their pairings as the event begins. And so for that purpose, introduce international arbiter Chris Bird and his able assistant, Tony Rich.
Okay. So for the drawing of lots, it's important to note that the rapid portion and the blitz portion each have a different draw of lots. For the rapid portion, since the Grand Chess Tour is made up of events that started in Paris this year, then Leuven, and now in St. Louis, some of the players already have their pairing numbers. So the 6 players who have either competed in Paris or in Leuven already have their pairing numbers. That leaves us with our 4 wild cards that still have to draw their lot. Pairing numbers that are still available are numbers 4, 5, 9, and 10. And then for the Blitz portion, every player is going to draw their lot. And it's important to note that since both of these tournaments are round robins, every player faces every other player throughout the events. And these drawings will determine in which order the players face one another and with which color. So now we have 4 wonderful books here called Shock List, 32 Pieces, The Art of Chess, that have been graciously donated by Q Boutique downstairs. If you have not been there, it has to be the best chess gift shop that exists, because it's not just all about chess. They have all kinds of fun things down there for the chess player and non-chess player alike. So, without further ado, Chris, do you have a preferred order on how we call the players up? Sure. So we will start with this end of the table. He is a chess player who attends Webster University, originally from Vietnam. We have Grandmaster Liam Lee. Okay, so he picked the second book in, which has pairing number 5. Thank you very much. Our second wild card here in the St. Louis Rapid and Blitz, all the way from the Czech Republic, Grandmaster David Navarra. David picks up his book, and he likes the pictures better. Pairing number 10. Joining us next from Cuba, we have Grandmaster Leonio Dominguez. Leonio very carefully chooses his book and picks number 9. And last but not least, that guy that's pretty good at chess, Grandmaster Garry Kasparov. Just to make sure we're honest, Grandmaster Kasparov draws pairing number 4. And so here's Chris Bird to announce our round 1 pairings for the rapid portion of the event.
Okay, thank you. So in round 1 of the rapid event, Levon Aronian will have white against David Navarra. Jan Nepomniachtchi will have white against Leonio Dominguez. Vishwanathan Anand will have white against Hikaru Nakamura. Garry Kasparov will have white and start off against Sergei Karyakin. And Liam Lee will have white against Fabiano Caruana.
Great. Thank you, Chris. Okay, so now for the Blitz portion of the event, we're going to do a full drawing of lots, which means all 10 players will pick their pairing number. I'll start on my end here. We have Grandmaster from the United States, Hikaru Nakamura. By the way, they're drawing the Harry Benson book on Bobby Fischer. Hikaru picks number 1. Next up, we have Jan Nepomniachtchi. Jan picks pairing number 8. Next up, we have Grandmaster Sergei Karyakin. By the way, I should mention that Harry Benson is being honored by the St. Louis Photography Museum and Hall of Fame. That's actually only a couple of miles here from the chess club. Starting in a couple of weeks, you'll have an exhibit there. And so Grandmaster, he draws number 7. Thank you very much. Next up from St. Louis, we have Grandmaster Fabiano Caruana. And Fabi picks number
9.
Number 9. Grandmaster Garry Kasparov.
Number 4.
Garry picks number 4. Next up, Grandmaster Leonio Dominguez.
And that's number 5.
Next, we have from India, Grandmaster Viswanathan Vishy Anand. Vishy picks number 3. Next up, Grandmaster Levon Aronian.
That's number 10.
Next up, we have Grandmaster David Navarra.
Six.
Number 6. And last but certainly not least, we have Grandmaster Liam Lee. And just to make sure we're honest, Liam draws.
That's number 2.
Number 2. So don't forget that all of the pairings and other information about the event, including photos, daily recaps, and a bulletin, will be available at grandchesstour.org. Now I'll turn it over to Maurice Ashley to close things out for the night.
Well, thank you, Tony. There are times when you remember where you were when it happened. And I can be sure all of you will remember where you were when Garry Kasparov returned to the game. And we know where we were because it's right here in St. Louis. It's going to be an epic event, not only for Garry on his return, for these players to my right, who know that this could be and will be remembered for all time to come. It will be something that you will tell your kids about and your grandkids about when one of the greatest players of all time, and maybe the greatest player of all time, returned to the game to test his mettle against his colleagues. It will be a lot of fun. I will be providing commentary alongside the Super Friends, my great team of colleagues. You don't want to miss it. It all starts tomorrow right here in St. Louis. The show begins 12:50 Central, 1:50 Eastern. And the Grand Chess Tour continues its amazing strides as it continues to expand the game and show what professional chess is all about. It's been my pleasure to introduce these players to talk about this evening, and I hope you will all join us. Thank you very much, and have a good night.